Welcome into our NJCAA network. Our selection shows continue. We have Division II NJCAA Women's Basketball National Tournament selections coming right up. 20 teams making this tournament, 16 district champs, 4 at-large, all of them to be determined where they're seated. And let's go ahead and look at the bracket for this one to be played in Joplin, Missouri from March the 18th to the 23rd. As you can see, the 16 and 17, as well as the 13, 20, 15, 18, and 14 and 19 seeds will play in essentially to the second round, as the top 4 seeds don't know who they're going to be playing yet, but everybody else will start on March 19th at Missouri Southern University in Joplin, Missouri. So let's go ahead and start by unveiling the top 4 seeds in this tournament. And we start with the number 1 overall seed. It is Johnson County and the Lady Cavaliers. 31-0, they earned the top spot after a perfect season, which saw a come-from-behind victory in the Region 6 championship to cement their spot. Ben Conrad has put together a really talented team led by Sage Grampsass, who is hitting 3.6 threes a game, and she's coming off a game in March where she hit 13 threes, setting a JCCC record. The number 2 seed in this tournament, and another team that will await who they play, is Kirkwood. Only 2 losses on the year for the Eagles, who set the record by clinching their 22nd trip to the NJCAA National Tournament. The 8-time national champion Eagles have the chance to add another with a great all-around team, hitting 9.5 threes a game and holding opponents to 30.3% from the field, both stats top 4 in NJCAA Division II. We move along to the number 3 seed, and another undefeated team in this tournament. It is Rock Valley. The Golden Eagles claimed the D2 Region 4 and Midwest District B titles for the first time in school history, while completing a perfect 33-0 season this year. The former D3 powerhouse have proved they are here to stay in D2, burning through competition and putting up 90 points a contest. Watch out for the double M's in this tournament, Mia Moore and Maya Mitchell, who are combining for nearly 30 points, 6 steals, and 11 rebounds a game. The final of the top 4 seeds is number 4, CCBC Essex. After a rough November road trip, the Knights were 2-4 with no idea which way the season would go. Since then, they are 23-2 with the only 2 losses coming against regional foe and another team in this tournament, the Harkham Bears. Ashley Dickey has done it all for CCBC Essex, scoring 15.5 a game while leading the team in steals. Meanwhile, freshman Elena Powell is dishing out over 6 assists a game and scoring in double figures. This Knight squad seems to have it figured out, and we will see if it holds up in Joplin. So those top 4 seeds to play on March the 19th, and here's a look at the bracket. Again, the number 1 Johnson County undefeated at 31-0. Kirkwood, the number 2 seed. Rock Valley undefeated as the number 3 seed, and CCBC Essex is the number 4 seed. So we're going to go ahead and talk with the number 1 seed head coach, Ben Conrad, about Johnson County's top selection. We now welcome on the head coach of the number 1 seeded Johnson County Cavaliers, Coach Ben Conrad. Thanks, Ben, for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, congratulations on the number 1 overall seed and on your 9th tournament appearance. First time that you take this Lady Cavaliers squad to the tournament undefeated, 31-0. What would it mean to you to be able to close out this perfect season?
We got a long ways to go to close it out, moving forward. But as far as what we've done so far, it's been really special, really an amazing run. It's hard to do. You think about all the nights. If you've done this long enough, you realize there's a lot of nights where things just don't go your way, and you're gonna go home with a loss. I mean, it's just part of the deal. Where you shoot it really bad, or you run into a buzzsaw team that just has that special night. And we've had a target on our back all year. We usually do, and we've gotten a lot of people's best shot, and just kind of found a way time and time again. So very means a lot to finish it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, finishing it in March is late March is really what it's all about. So that's what we're going after. Although we know this is a very, very difficult tournament to win, and it's not getting any easier.
Yeah, well, you have had a lot of continued success, and it's even more impressive this year, the fact that it's such a young roster that Johnson County has. 63% of the minutes played have come from freshmen for you guys this year. So how proud are you of those freshmen and their maturity since the start of the season?
It's really been amazing when you think about how young we are. It is the youngest team that I've coached here at Johnson County, other than the first team back in 2009, 2008, 2009, when I came on, I got on board here in mid-June that year. And so we kind of put a team together a little bit that first year. So it was pretty young. But this is the youngest team we've had. We brought back three kids came back in terms of just experienced returners. And then the rest of the group, it was kind of a reboot. We lost 5 starters off last year's team. We had 5 sophomore starters. 6 of our top 8 were sophomores, and it was a very sophomore laden team and very talented. It was a really good team, and so we knew we had some major holes to fill. The 23 recruiting class was pretty strong, though. It was a pretty deep class as far as kids that we felt like we were able to get involved with, and it's been a great class. But I think that starts with those 3 returners that I talked about. Sage Gramsis and Jazzy Kling and Grace Lynch are all kids that really showed these young kids the way. They kind of showed them how we do things, and we're great leaders. And to the freshmen, to the credit, our freshmen, they bought in and really were willing to follow along and kind of buy into the way we do things. And they have gotten a ton better over the course of the last few months. And you start to see kids doing things now that they weren't even thinking about doing in November and December. It's really been special. But we knew those freshmen had that potential and had a chance to be very good. But it takes every freshman is different. Some of them it takes a year to figure things out. Some of them it takes a week or two. Some of it takes you got to get to Christmas. And so we've had a lot of freshmen that have contributed and been very good for us. So it's been really big. And if they wouldn't have done that, we would not be having the same success that we've had. But again, I go back to tremendous leadership from those 3 returners that we have.
You definitely have a good mix of that youth talent and experience on that roster. Now, you touched on a little bit earlier, one of the more talented tournaments that we've seen in years past. You're not the only undefeated team in this tournament, with Rock Valley as the 3 seed. So what does Johnson County have to do to walk away with their first title since 2015?
Well, to your point, yeah, it's a really good field, and we kind of knew that going in. When you start talking about what Iowa did with splitting their region up, some of the additional teams that have changed over in different parts of the country have gone from D1 to D2, and then just parity, I think, that's happening across women's basketball. You look at our level, it's like the highest level. Like there's more good players and more good teams and programs that are very competitive as women's basketball grows. And so it's only natural that the tournament has gotten better. And I noticed the last couple of years, I felt like it was. It's always hard to win this tournament. Don't get me wrong, but I do think it's getting harder. And now when we've expanded to 20 teams, in theory, you're going to have some teams in this tournament that wouldn't have been otherwise that have a chance to win it. So I just think, lots of teams, as you look at the beginning, when you start on the first day or two, you're going to watch and you're going to think they got a chance. And that means it's going to be a really good week of basketball. As far as what we have to do, I think, we just have to continue to do what we've done and hopefully get just a little bit better at it, in the next week and a half. But I just think the winner of this tournament's got to be good. But the winner of this tournament also is going to have to catch some breaks, and the breaks come in a lot of different ways. I've been doing this long enough to know that, it helps to catch a break in this tournament, whether it be in a game or whether it be with a certain matchup. Sometimes somebody gets upset and and it helps you because you didn't have to play them, and you got to play somebody else that was a little better matchup for you, because basketball is such a matchup driven game. So I don't have the answers. If I had the answers, we'd have a whole stack full of them, of those championships laying around. So it's it's hard to do, but I like our team. I like our makeup. I think we're built. For it. But again, it's this is March, so it's called March Madness for a reason, and it's going to be mad. It's going to be crazy, and it's every one of these games at this tournament is going to be a battle, no question about it.
Oh, there's definitely going to be some good basketball played in Joplin, so excited to see you there. Any final comments before we wrap up on this selection show?
No, I guess I just wish everybody safe travels to the tournament, and stay healthy between now and then, and look forward to getting everybody together for a great week of basketball. Continue to just grow our game, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep, looking forward to it. Coach Ben Conrad on the #1 seed. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Big thanks to Coach Ben Conrad for coming on to speak with us, and congratulations to his team, the #1 overall seed, Johnson County, at 31-0. All right, a quick break before what you've all been waiting for. We unveil the seeds for the 5 through 20 and find out who the 4 at-larges are. Stay with us on the NJCAA Network.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
I have a little birthday message for you from someone too.
I heard you really love basketball. You're a good shooter and a good dribbler. Happy birthday, MJ, and I hope you enjoy your day.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Welcome back into the NJCAA Network. I'm Zach McKinstry, and plenty of teams are sitting on pins and needles right now, trying to figure out where they're seated or if they're even getting into this tournament. Well, before we look at the remaining seeds, let's look at the bracket one more time with those top 4 seeds we mentioned earlier. #1 Johnson County, #2 Kirkwood, #3 Rock Valley, and #4 CCBC Essex. All will play March 19th. And who they're playing will be determined on March the 18th. So let's go ahead and look at that first 16 and 17 matchup and unveil the first team from the 5 through 20s. It is the 16 seed Southwestern Michigan. District Coach of the Year Jay Jenkins takes his Roadrunners to the NJCAA D2 National Tournament in his first year at the helm. Southwestern Michigan is getting 40 points a game from the guard combo of Cameron Thomas and Macy Laubach. So we'll see if the sophomore duo can keep it up in Joplin. Their first test will be the #17 seed, and our first at-large bid, it is North Central Missouri. Congratulations to the Pirates, our first at-large bid, the #17 seed, after a 24-6 season against a really tough schedule. The Lady Pirates came up just short in the Region 16 championship, but their season will continue. It's the 3rd straight year head coach Jenny Croy has taken her squad to the tournament as we move along to our 8 and 9 matchup. Underneath in that top left corner of the bracket, it starts with the 8 seed Union. The Owls got the better of Harcum, locking up the Region 19 championship in a 57-53 barn burner. And they followed that up by winning the district championship in a dominant showing over Niagara County. The Owls have been playing their best basketball down the stretch, winning 7 straight against some tough district opponents. Their first opponent in this tournament will be the 9 seed Lincoln Land. The Loggers upset the Region 24 #1 seed Parkland 70-50. to punch their ticket after a 27-6 season. Marley Smith earned first-team All-MWAC as well as All-Region after averaging 18.4 points a game through 27 games. Moving right along, we have the 13 and 20 matchup underneath to determine who plays the 4 seed, and the 13 seed is an at-large, Pima. The Aztecs get in, marking the 9th time in the last 17 years they've made this tournament. They battled through some injuries and illness in the region championship, but hope to return healthy at this tournament after winning 7 games against D1 opponents this year. They are one of several teams in this tournament loaded with freshmen, and Riley Waugh leads the way in scoring 16.4 points a game. Pima and the Aztecs will play the 20 seed Coastal Alabama North. Our surprise team in the district round gets the 20 seed with a chance to be the Cinderella after navigating the Region 22 championship and shocking Palm Beach State in the Gulf South District title. The duo of Taylor Murph and Tiffany Goodman balled out in that game, combining for 44 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists. And the Coyotes look to stay hot in Missouri. Underneath them will be the 5 and 12 matchup, starting with our number 5 seed, Iowa Western. Another team that would definitely be borderline top 4 any other year, 31 and 2 under first-year head coach Mitch Rolls, who sends the Reavers dancing after a dominant 34-point win in the North Central District B Championship. It marks only the 3rd time IW has won 30 or more games in a season, and 1 win in the tournament would set a new school record. The Reavers have one of the best, if not the best player in this tournament in McKenna Minter. The redshirt sophomore guard is scoring 20 points a game while averaging 7.7 rebounds, 5.8 assists, and 2.2 steals every single game. If she's on, the Reavers could wreak havoc. They will have a tough test as the 12 seed is an at-large, and it is the Parkland Cobras. They get in after a stellar 24-4 season that fell just short in the region championship. They had an unbelievably tough strength of schedule this year, taking down a number of D1 opponents and D2 top 10 opponents. Parkland forward Alyssa Cole is scoring nearly 20 points a game while adding 11.1 rebounds a game. She's a walking double-double and will look to help the Cobras advance. We move along to the 15 and 18 matchup, and it is time now for our final at-large bid. It is the Lakeland Lakers. 24-8, they make the jump from receiving votes in the latest poll to getting the final at-large spot. Freshman forward Sydney Richards is averaging 12-8 this season as the 2021 national champions return to the tournament in 2024. Their first contest will be against the 18 seed and Jackson. The Jets soared their way to a Great Lakes District C title, eliminating Bay College and Lansing CC along the way. 6 of the top 7 scorers on this squad are freshmen, with Kayla Butler averaging 16.3 for this 25-win team. Winner of that one will take on number 2 Kirkwood as we move beneath them in the bracket to look at the 7 and 10 matchup. Starts with our number 7 seed. It is Morton. The Region 4 dynasty continues for the Panthers, who are headed to the tourney for the 4th straight year. This is a dangerous 7 seed, as Morton makes 12 three-pointers a game on average this season, while holding opponents to a 3rd best 49.3 points a game. They will play the 10 seed and another tough opponent. It is Harcum. It's the 2nd straight year that Harcum heads to the national championship after taking down Sullivan County CC in a 44-42 nail-biter for the East District B title. The Bears have a stout defense and are the best in the nation at defending the arc, with opponents shooting only 20% from 3 on the year. So a big defensive matchup on March the 19th between that 7 and 10 Morton and Harcum. We move along to the final quadrant of the bracket, and it's the 14 and 19 seeds. Winner to play Rock Valley, and the 14 seed is Mid-Michigan. It's the 2nd straight nationals trip for the Lakers after a 21-9 season and a come-from-behind victory in the Great Lakes District Tournament. It's 2 freshmen that lead the scoring for Mid-Michigan, Rachel Rezio and Chloe Watson, that look to carve a path for the Lakers in this tournament. They'll take on the number 19 team, Bryant and Stratton, Virginia. The Bobcats haven't lost in March, winning 3 games in the Region 10 tournament to claim their spot in this tournament. It's back-to-back 21 seasons now for Coach Cornell Parker, who's led by LaTanya Berry, the sophomore big who's averaging a double-double on the year. Another good matchup there, winner to take on Rock Valley, the 3 seed, and we move to the final matchup in this tournament. Number 6 seed, Mesa. The Lady T-Birds secured their 8th Region 1 title under head coach Corey Stevenson after a potential Scottsdale game-tying 3 rattled out at the buzzer. This is a sound Mesa defense that holds opponents to under 50 points a game with a pair of impressive freshmen, Jada Brooks and Asian Hunter, that averaged double figures. They will take on the 11 seed, Southern Arkansas University Tech. 20-1 on the year, Coach Brooks and the Lady Rockets are dancing after a near-perfect season. They are led by a trio of sophomore guards, Layla and Jada Minter and Carson DeFries, all of which scoring 12 or more a game. They'll try and get it done against Mesa in their opening matchup. And let's zoom out and take a look at all the matchups in this tournament. Congrats again to all those teams that made it. We start with a 16-17 matchup of Southwestern Michigan and North Central Missouri. Winner to take on the number 1 seed. Union and Lincoln Land, the 8 and 9, 2 evenly matched teams beneath them. Pima and Coastal Alabama North, the 13 and 20. Iowa Western and Parkland is going to be a very fun matchup at the bottom of the left side of the bracket. Switch sides, it's Lakeland and At-Large and Jackson, the 15 and 18 battling to play Kirkwood, Morton and Harcum beneath them. Then Mid-Michigan and Bryant and Stratton, Virginia play for the chance to take on Rock Valley, and Mesa and SAU Tech round out the rest of the games in this bracket. Don't go anywhere. We're going to a break, and when we come back, we talk to the Division II Women's Basketball Committee Chair, Tony Tompkins, about a lot of these selections.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
Welcome back into our NJCAA Division II Women's Basketball Selection Show. We have our Division II Committee Chair now, Tony Tompkins, with us. Tony, thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here.
Definitely a lot to talk about. Big news is Lakeland going from receiving votes in the latest poll to moving into this tournament, jumping Palm Beach State and Allen. What did you notice about their body of work?
Overall strength of schedule, I'd probably say they probably have one of the toughest schedules of any of the teams that are in the tournament. They had 2 more regular season games to go after the final poll was there, and they had some really good wins. I believe over Lincoln Land and Parkland, which are both in the tournament. They've been receiving votes all year long, either in the 5 range, the 15 range. So it's nothing new. It's really not that a surprise to me, just with their strength of schedule and some quality wins. They've beaten Kirkwood, Morton, Lincoln Land, Palm Beach, and Parkland. So I think they're definitely deserving to be in the tournament.
So let's move from one at-large to another. North Central Missouri, the last at-large bid to get in. What did you like about their body of work?
Kind of the same thing. I think they were ranked number 10 in the latest poll. They were playing some pretty good basketball throughout the year. I think they kind of just probably had a bad week against the same team. I think it's hard to beat a team 3 times. They did beat Jefferson earlier in the year, and then I think they just just probably didn't play well, but same thing. They played a lot of Region 6 teams as well, which I think we have a pretty tough region. But they beat Iowa Western early on. They beat Morton, and they beat Allen, which was also in our league, and I think was also considered for a poll spot or an at-large spot. So.
Yeah, definitely a lot of talent, and it's a good segue. 2 undefeated teams in this tournament. Where do you rank the talent in this tournament compared to years past?
With the at-large it just definitely just brings a whole different dynamic. I don't think there's any gimme games, especially in that first round. So I think it's just the overall talent is there. I mean, looking at it on paper, I was like, really, there's numerous teams that can win the whole thing this year. So it's gonna be a really exciting tournament. Looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, well, thank you again for your time, Tony. Is there any other comment you wanted to make before we wrap this show up?
No, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be here, and also for our committee. I wasn't able to be on the call since one of our team is in it, but I know they looked at it really hard, and I think with the at-larges, I think it took about an hour and a half just to try to figure out those 4 teams, and so just want to thank them for all their work on that.
Well, there's definitely tons of talent and definitely a lot of excitement on the way. So, Tony Tompkins, thank you, and we appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Big thanks to Tony Tompkins for breaking down a bunch of those decisions and giving us some insight on those committee moves to choose those 4 at-large bids and seed everyone in this tournament. So once again, congratulations to those 4 at-large teams that got in and all of the teams ranked in this one. Let's take one final look at the bracket before we wrap up. Again, 16-17 of Southwestern Michigan and North Central Missouri. Johnson County, the #1 overall seed in this tournament. Union and Lincoln Land, a good matchup on March the 19th. Pima, Coastal Alabama North. Then underneath them, the 5 and 12 of Iowa Western and Parkland. Opposite side of the bracket, it is Lakeland and Jackson. Winner will play #2 seeded Kirkwood. Morton and Harcum underneath them as the 7 and 10. Rock Valley, the 3 seed, will play the winner of Mid-Michigan and Bryan and Stratton, Virginia. And then Mesa and SAU Tech round out this bracket to be played from March 18th to the 23rd in Joplin, Missouri. Once again, congratulations. Thanks everybody for tuning in on the NJCAA network. I'm Zach McKinstry, and we cannot wait to see you in Joplin.